It's that time again. It's the Burky and the Badger Board Game Babble Show. It's going to get wild. It's going to get wacky. It might even get a little zany. We're going to talk about board games and the board game industry. And, you know, we might talk about anything else we want to talk about.
Ha ha ha! Ah, Sir Barry, it's the Burky and it's the Badger, and we're live again! Post-GenCon explosion!
Woohoo! Hey, hello Burky, my old buddy. How are you?
I'm doing really great there, Sir Barry. Burps a lot.
Yeah. People know me very well by the name Burks a lot. Burks a lot?
Yeah.
Burps a lot.
Burps a lot.
And I'm sure people know you as the fantastic Kevin GenCon Smire.
Ah, GenCon Smire. That was a very, very prestigious and insightful segue, Sir Barry.
Oh, it was. Oh.
Yes. Because this show is about post-GenCon, and we're going to be discussing Potion Explosion from Cool Mini or Not Simon Games, and that's going to be super exciting. So Barry, tell me before we get into things that make you go, what have you been doing?
Well, I've just recently got back from England, spent a nice little week there, catching up with friends and family, and I thought I'd go and check out the local board game cafes, because there's a few of them that's popped up recently around the area where I used to live. One in particular is in Southampton called Board in the City, I think there. It's in the Civic Centre. I meant to go along, but the opening hours were 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. And unfortunately, every day that we were in England, we were occupied in those times. I was hoping that the cafe would be open in the morning, and we'd probably have a pop in the morning, do something lunchtime-ish there. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I also did a bit of digging around the cafe itself, and it's actually a community cafe. All of its profits, they do not go to the owner of the cafe. They have a certain percentage, I can't remember what the percentage is, which actually goes towards helping the community, which I think is fantastic. But unfortunately, I've heard bad news from one of our friends, Luke Hector from Broken Meeple, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
He said that they've been suffering some financial difficulty and may be closing due to that. So good news and bad news. So yes, I went to go and check out that board game cafe, and I didn't get time to do it. But I did go into Portsmouth for one day. We spent the day in Portsmouth looking through the
Horsemouth.
Yes, it's Horsemouth.
Yes.
And they have a board game cafe as well called Dice, which was kickstarted last year, if my memory serves me well. And unfortunately, they weren't open due to the fact that they're having problems with their location, unfortunately. So I did try, and I failed. If I'd stayed there an extra day, I would have probably got there for their demo day, and I would have caught up with Luke Hector, who was helping out there. So that's what I've been up to. A week in England, just got back, and I must remember to cut my hair before I go on holiday, because I had hair which was like that.
Stubble. Oh, you like Afro Barry then?
I had Afro Barry hair.
Yeah. I'd like to see that, actually.
Hello, Philip. How you doing?
Yeah, Philip, how are you? And Sir Paul of Grogan from Gaming Rules Vids. He's always joining us 2 hours early because he's got nothing better to do.
Yeah, it's lucky devil you. So what have you been up to, my good chap, apart from GenCon?
Well, see, that's the whole thing. It's all been about GenCon. Yeah, read the script, right? No, it's all about GenCon, and so I'm not even going to talk about what I've been up to until I'm ready to talk about what I'm up to. Or have been up to.
This man is serious.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna get crazy, it's gonna get wild, and we're gonna talk about anything we want to talk about. Woohoo! Well, yeah.
And we're going over the top. Yeah, we're going over the top now.
We're going over the top.
We're going over the top.
Yeah, sometimes we have to just scale it back a little, but that's so hard to do when we're so excited.
We're not
Okay,
filming for
so
time or anything, are we?
no, not of course. Things that make you go,
Oh, we're going into that already.
All right, go.
Okay, let me find
Oh, see, here it goes.
music.
Philip is so envious about GenCon.
I read the script.
Where'd my music go?
Oh, sorry. Nobody can see you.
They can see me typing on an old typewriter.
I'll go
See
for
me
it.
slapping it over and over again. Ah, Barry. So tell us some of the things that are making you go,
Well, I haven't got much to talk about because while you were at GenCon, there wasn't a lot going on apart from what was at GenCon. And so I had a look at the Board Game Geek. I was on Board Game Geek every day, see what was going on. I was checking out the hotness list. Down the left-hand side, they have a hotness list. Actually, let's have a look now, shall we? I'm singing with a screen share. Just sing with the screen share. Here we go, screen share here. On the left-hand side there is the hotness.
Hotness.
And again, yeah, hotness, love. Yeah. And those are
soy is hot. Soy
Yes.
is really hot.
It's right at the top. Yeah, so I was looking at this list, and all the games that were on this list were all brand new games, and it was all stuff which is coming out of GenCon or just before GenCon, like Cry Havoc, the legendary encounters for Firefly and Big Trouble in Little China. It was all new games, apart from two, which I recognized. One of them was, can you guess?
Fantasy Flight.
Yes, Descent was one of them. It was still on there.
Descent.
Oh,
that's a lower tone song. No, Mansions of Madness 2, second version.
Yeah, but that is a new game. So I'm talking about games that were released before Christmas this year. So there was Descent was one of those games which was still on the hotness list when GenCon was on. And the second one was Pandemic Legacy. I was quite surprised. Yes. I was very surprised. It was interesting, you know, to see a list of all new games and everyone's talking about it on Board Game Geek. And there's these two slightly older games, which are still being talked about as well. And I found that interesting.
Dice Tower Game of the Year. Ding.
Which one?
Pandemic Legacy.
All right, yeah, I've got to do a ding. Where's the ka-ching? Yeah, you mentioned the Dice Tower.
Yeah, you got to get the Stefania Bell. There you go. You do know about the Stefania Bell, don't you?
No, fill me in, chap.
This is a reference to fantasy football. ESPN, Matthew Berry from ESPN, who I really enjoy listening to. And whenever Stefania Bell comes on there and they mention something about her medical prowess or something like that, they say the Stefania Bell and they ring the bell. So we have our own Stefania Bell on the Burky and Badger Board Game Battle Show.
Okay, that made no sense. Moving right along. What's been making you go?
We do have fantasy football followers, brother.
Yeah?
Yeah, and they're coming out in force too, brother. 2 weeks, baby.
Yeah?
Fantasy football in high swing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Somebody's going to say something before you know it. Okay, so here we go. Side note, this is not a fantasy football podcast. This is a board game podcast. Okay, something I saw really interesting that made me go, is from Modiphius. They've announced a new Star Trek RPG game and a miniatures line.
Okay.
And it's called Star Trek Adventures, and it says Starfleet needs a whole new crew. And listen to this. Modiphius Entertainment, publisher of games like Thunderbirds and Mutant Chronicles, are making good on using the Star Trek license by releasing a new role-playing game based in this universe. At the start, you'll only be able to play a few Starfleet characters, but you will have access to the whole Star Trek lore and the original series to Enterprise and all the movies. This new RPG will also use some of the 2D20 system that Modiphius, other role-playing games, have used, designed by Jason Little, who helped out with X-Wing, and then it goes on and talks about all this stuff. Talks about you can get Cisco and Picard and Captain Kirk.
Yeah, sorry. You're talking about Star Trek. I thought you were talking about Alien Nation.
No.
Cisco.
So Modiphius. They're talking about, I haven't played a lot of role-playing games, and it's not that I don't like them. I played Star Trek Assault. We played a couple, that's more of a dungeon crawl, but I mean, I've played those type of games. Growing up in high school, I didn't do a lot with role-playing. At that time, I was playing war games and things like that. And our game group doesn't do a lot of role-playing, but I'm interested, but I don't know what this 2D20 system that Modiphius is offering. I don't know what that really is based on. Do you know what that is? That's why it made me go,
2D is that every time you're going to do a check or something, you'll require 2 D20s. So
okay,
yeah, probably have for random encounters or for stat tests and things like that. There you go. I'm showing off my RPG skills. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Well, not all of us can be the secret cabal and talk about role-playing games all the time, okay?
I can talk to you about Choose Your Own Adventure books.
You can?
Yeah, I just downloaded some on my app. That's a cool thing now. You can download Choose Your Own Adventures onto your pads.
Oh, cool.
Not the pads. Yeah, anyway. Not those drum pads.
Well, I just thought I love the Star Trek universe. I was able to get, exactly. I mean, this actually looks kind of fun. It almost seems like this is something my family might want to get into. I don't know. I'm just interested. It made me go, I thought it was noteworthy. So anything else making you go,
Yeah, Vulcan Blood's making me go, it's very tasty.
Live long and prosper.
I'm actually drinking mint. Cold
Philip, it's in.
What?
Hot news flash. We're talking about things that make you go, Philip Millman is part of the secret cabal.
Dun, dun, dun. Where is it?
Dun, dun, dun. No, that's ta-da. No, that's ta-da. No, it's dun, 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 dun. No. So anything else making you go, Barry?
Yeah. What is the secret cabal?
Oh, yes. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
No, that's it for me, chap.
It doesn't exist. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Fine.
You're off the hook. Off the hook?
All right.
Oh, dear.
So anything else making you go,
Let's rewind and do that again. No. No.
No. Oh, I didn't hear no.
No.
You don't have anything. Well, I got all kinds of things making me go, One of the things is this. Look at this, baby. Here it is. You all ready for this? The moment you've all waited for.
Come on.
Drum roll. Where is it?
Oh, it's not working.
Oh, that's a split rim. No,
yes,
rim shot. Oh, man. Never give a monkey a keyboard.
No, it's not working. That works.
Okay, that was a good one. I'll go for that one. We'll use it, whatever we can get. Okay, here it is. Ready?
Ooh.
Yeah, baby. The king, when he chooses to be, of royals has been meeplified. The good fine artists at Meeple Source have started a Kickstarter, and the king is the featured exclusive meeple of the kingdom.
Yeah, that looks really cool. It really does look like you. A meeple that looks like Burky over there.
Oh, it is good to be the king.
with a nice dress on.
It is not a dress. Funny. I heard about it. Actually, Scott Morris texted me and he said, "How cool is this? You've been meeplified." Well, I end up seeing Cynthia and her brother Cynthia Landon at GenCon. She comes by and she goes, "Do you realize that very few people have ever been meeple-fied?" And I said, "This is awesome." What I didn't know is behind the scenes when we were at Origins and I had my King outfit on and they had asked to take pictures, that's why they were doing it, so their artists could do the artwork.
That's cool.
And many thanks to Arcane Wonders because they had a little hand in this thing, doing some special promotions for the board game Royals that's going to be coming out towards the end of September. And along with that, our episode of Board Game Theater Royals will be debuting the first week of September. For those of you excited about that, that's going to be an epic, super funny episode. So we're looking forward to all of that.
Yeah, and I can vouch
So
for that,
that was.
I've seen some snippets of it, and it looks funny.
I dropped a few little of our blooper reels on my iPad when I went to GenCon and allowed a few people to see it. And we had people rolling. So I hope people really enjoy it.
I think they will.
Well, I think it's time for us to jump right on, and we can go into the good, the not so bad, and the ugly.
The not so bad. Wait for it. And the ugly.
Ha ha ha.
I managed to do it live.
Fantastic, Barry. So tell us a little bit about our memes this time for the good, the not so bad, and the ugly.
Well, let's start off by saying that the good, the bad, and the ugly is our first impressions section. It's where we do a kind of quick review of a game that we've played once for the first time ever, and we'll just give you our impressions. We'll either say it's good, which means that this game was great, I'd love to play it again. We'd say it's not so bad if we've played it and we thought, well, yeah, it's okay, but we could take it or leave it. We could, you know, if it came across the table in front of us, we'd probably play it or we'd probably not play it. And then we have ugly, which means that we wish that it stayed in a corner at GenCon under a table. You know, someone had left it there and we totally forgot it was there and its existence. Maybe someone stamped on it. Or can I make this even worse? Yeah. So, yes. So our good, the bad, and the ugly is that a segment about first impressions.
Yeah, first impressions. So the good, the bad, the not so bad, and the ugly. The first thing that I've been playing has been this bad boy. Look at this. Mombasa. Mombasa.
You got that in stereo.
Hey-oh.
Can you tell me a little bit about Mombasa before I try and figure out if you think it's good, bad, or ugly?
Well, Mombasa, this here, I'm showing you the back of the game here, and you can see the board game setup. This is made by R&R Games, and this game, it plays 2 to 4 players. It's a medium to heavyweight Euro game, and in this game, you're doing a lot of different things. There's a lot going on in the game. You actually have kind of like these stock tracks that are going up on the side of the board. You're also increasing your trading posts are going out into Africa basically, and you've got a couple pieces that you can use to go do specific actions on the board. There's also some cards that you can buy, and these cards are your action selection, and you get 3 cards that you're going to put up. But as the game goes on, you're going to be able to go to 4 cards and eventually even 5 cards. There's some additional cards that you can acquire by using your workers to go there. And there's also, you know, this stock economic element where things are going up and down and you're trying to garner, you know, stock in those companies. You're watching an awful lot of things. You've got a book track where you're gaining knowledge. You also have a diamond track, and all of these things are going to give you a good amount of points. And so you have to kind of manage and watch all of that. What do you think I think about Mombasa?
Well, our good friend Philip Millman thinks that you think it's good.
What does Philip know?
Excuse me.
We shouldn't insult the guest, right?
No. The traitor has gone to the secret cabal. We were going to offer.
You know I love you, Philip. You know I love you.
We're going to offer you a special place with us every week. You do like a 2-second segment.
No, Philip's awesome.
No. Yeah, I think you think it's good. It looks like a nice kind of Euro mechanic-y game with trading in the Mediterranean thrown in for good measure.
Oh,
I think it's one of those ones that you know, you've obviously not got it on your shelf with shame because it is in your hand.
Well, this is the deal. It is good.
Yeah.
Oh, what does our good say? Jerry Lewis, what is he saying?
Jerry Lewis as the Nutty Professor.
That's it.
Yes. He's. Oh, you doing the Jerry Lewis, or am I doing the Jerry Lewis?
You do the Jerry Lewis. I just did it, but I didn't do it well.
Okay. Look, I'm English, right? Okay, and I watched one Jerry Lewis film, and I'm guessing that he's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Bucky. The Nutty Professor. Just sit back and relax. I know what I'm doing. I bet you that's nothing like Jerry Lewis.
That's like nothing like Jerry Lewis, but I'll be the girl. And she says, I think I've heard that before. Yeah, he looks like he's going to blow something up. And of course, this is our post-GenCon explosion. And something bad is going to happen in that scene, I can tell.
Yes.
But yeah, I definitely say it's good. Tell you a little bit of story about this. I want to give a shout out to Dan DiLorenzo from R&R Games. We're at Origins. We're all taking down all the booths. I'm helping Arcane Wonders, and I was handing out a whole bunch of M&Ms and stuff. We had a whole case of them. I was handing out M&Ms to everybody, so everybody loved me. That's how you make people love you. Just give them M&Ms, right? So I go over there, and I hadn't had a chance yet, but I wanted to buy Mombasa, and I said, hey, I'd like to pick up a copy of Mombasa from you. Oh, they had already shut down their inventory. And he goes, well, I'll give you my demo copy. And I said, yeah, no, I'll pay for that too. It doesn't matter. And he goes, no, we've shut down our system. And then he couldn't find his demo copy, and he just hands me a brand new copy of Mombasa in shrink wrap. And I said, well, happy to pay you. And I pulled out my wallet and grabbed $40. And he says, no, my system's down, and I just want you to have it. Well, I just was like, wow, dude, thank you so much. That was just so cool of him. I don't know if you've ever met Dan, but he's got the biggest smile, and he's always having the most fun when I see him at conventions. So I'm looking forward to getting to know him better. But anyway, nonetheless, that doesn't make any difference on my rating of the game whatsoever. I had it on my shelf of shame, and I've just really been wanting to play it. It's a heavy game, and I would say it goes from medium to a little bit more heavy. There's so much going on there. For 2 rounds, I was just kind of the rules explanation. My son he did it well, but I was just like, too much going on. I couldn't grab it all. And by the second round, all of a sudden, it was all clicking, all making sense. And this game is fantastic. All of the different things that you can do. I mean, I want to play this game again because I want to try a different strategy. I screwed up on some of my card purchases, and I want to try it again. And I don't know. It was just everybody was engaged. It didn't feel like it outstayed its welcome. It's beautiful in its art design. I don't know, if you like heavier games, you know, if you're kind of just like family games, you might not like it. But if you like, you know, I don't think my daughter, 2 of my daughters would like it. My daughter Maddie, she probably just loved it. Josiah loved it. The rest of the game group loved it. So in my book, it's a win. Really, really great game from R&R Games, Mombasa.
Well,
what game you been playing?
Talking about light family games, one that I've just recently played. 1 second. Screen share. Is a game from Antoine Bowser called Oceanos. I think I pronounced that correctly. It's a brand new game. from Yellow, and it is a very family-friendly game. And in the game, you're exploring the ocean with your submarine, and you'll be going along in your submarine to discover different types of sea creatures, and also to find treasure and make the largest coral reef. And all this is done with a oh dear, what's the word I'm looking for? A drafting system with cards. Where one person is the captain, and what will happen is they will deal out cards to all the other players depending on how many periscopes they have on their submarine, and then they choose a card and put it in front of them, and they give the rest of the cards to the captain, and then the captain chooses one of those cards and plays that in front of them, and everyone reveals it, and you build up this kind of tableau of the ocean. It's in 3 levels, so you have like the top level, the bottom level, and the very bottom level. I should say the middle. Top, middle, and bottom level of the sea, and that it's a simple points game where you'll just flying along, collecting things, upgrading your submarine, and hopefully at the end of the game you have not disturbed the Kraken and woken him up and got minus points. Otherwise, it's just a point fest.
Wow. Well, the way you said that, I'm gonna say you say not so bad.
Great Scott! You're right.
Wow, Doc, I think you just blew up Einstein. Oh, Doc Brown.
Yes, it's not bad. It is a very, very, very light family game. It says from the ages of 8 and up, and I think that's about right. I think that's the kind of age group that this game is aimed at. It's lighter than a lot of games, and again, that's strange because the box is big and heavy because the amount of cardboard that is in there, and this cardboard is the submarines that you have as a player, and it's a 5-player game, so there's 5 submarines, but you times that by 3. Because each submarine has 3 different levels. You can adjust the engine and adjust it from a level 1 to a level 2 and to a level 2 to a level 3. You've got the periscopes you can adjust from level 1, 2, and 3. You've got the front, you've got the middle section, you've got the petrol section, and also you've got like a jigsaw puzzle submarine, and it's really nice and it's really adorable, and it's, you know, it adds a bit to the game, but the game is just really a simple card drafting game where you're building up this lovely panoramic ocean view, and you're trying to get coral in the right together in clumps so you can claim like the bonus points for the biggest coral reef. You're trying to get the most treasure in a line so you can send a diver off to collect the treasure, which at the end of the game you get, you pull treasure tokens out of a sack, a very nice little, you know, material sack. There is a bucket load of components in this game, but this game is just really a card game, and I think, you know, it could have got away with being in a smaller box with just cards, and then this submarine could have been cards which you just replace. It's nice, it's cute, but in the long run, I don't think it's going to be it's going to go down well. I think people are going to see this game is going to be something brilliant, you know, kind of Takenoko. But it's not as strategic as Takenoko. It's very thin, but there is a little bit of strategy and how you adjust your submarine. But apart from that, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Great one for little kids, I think, because
yeah, I saw a lot of people jonesing to go get it at GenCon. They were saying, "Yeah, I want to go get Oceanos," and I hadn't heard much about it though till you just said that. But I mean, it sounds good, but I could see where, like what you're saying, it might just kind of not have legs to it.
Yeah, it's very light. It's on the lower end of light to medium. So I would say that Takenoko is a tad more strategic than this and a bit more interesting. But you know, again, same designer. But
well, I played another one in that weight of game that you're talking about, I think, and it's called Imhotep. And this here is by Phil Walker Harding. This is a Cosmos game, Imhotep, and basically in this game you have these great big thick cubes which are really substantial, and you're loading them onto boats, and you're running them over to either build a temple or a pyramid, or you can go up to the market and get cards that will give you points. They have both an A and B side. They have these big obelisks that you can go on as well. They've got the burial vault. And depending on the order that you put them in and how high you build them and all of those things are going to give you a variety of different points. But what's interesting is everybody has an opportunity to put, you can grab 3 of your blocks and put them on your cart, or you can place 1 block on a boat, or you can move one of your boats to one of the areas, one of those places where you're going to build. What's interesting is everybody has one of these options on their turn, unless they have a special blue card, and then they're going to do it, and you could move somebody else's boat even if you didn't load goods onto it. So you could take their boat to a place that they didn't want to go.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So that's Imhotep. This was a Spiel des Jahres nominee. Of course, we know Codenames won. I think deservedly so, but a lot of people thought this game was in line to win as well. So how do you think I felt about that, Barry?
Okay, yeah, I've seen this game a bit, and it looks kind of a light game. I don't, you know, it reminds me of the old getting the fox, chicken, and the salad across the lake kind of puzzles. But I think you think it's good.
You think it's good. Philip Millman thinks he knows me.
Oh,
and yeah. He says the verdict, good. I can see him there with a gavel too for some reason. He's hitting a gavel on his desk. So actually, here it is.
Ooh, and not so bad. Yeah, that is a great Scott.
Wow. I think you just blew up Einstein.
Again. Yeah, but that was in the past, Marty.
That seems like, yeah. Have we been back to the future?
Mm-hmm. Great.
Go back in time.
I'm going to fall off the toilet.
Well, the reason why I felt not so bad, again, this is first impression, played it twice. We played on the A side and the B side. A couple of the things I liked better on the B side than I liked on the A side. I think I liked the temple better on the A side. The first game, I didn't get up to the market at all. And it just the way it worked out, other people were going to the market and getting these sets of cards. We played it twice. Everybody in the game group was like, okay, this is a quick, fun kind of aperitif, you know, for a game. We could play this real quick to get in our gamer mode. I don't know that I'd want to keep playing it all the time. Now, I talked to Gabrielle the other night, and she goes, do you want to play a game? And we played Potion Explosion, which we're going to talk about. But then I just talked to her about this one, and she goes, oh, that sounds really great. And I think because that's the weighted game Gabby really loves, I think she's going to adore the game. Whereas for me, it was just a little, I like filler games, but this just felt like, well, if I was going to play a filler game, I think I'd play something else. But on the other side, it's a good game. It's not so bad. It's not a bad game by any means. It's just not one that I'm like jonesing to play, but it was cool. I'm glad I got it, I guess. It's kind of a, I need to play it some more. Maybe it'll grow on me more. I got to say the components, those great big cubes, that was really cool.
Yeah. It sounds like in a way, it sounds a bit like Survivor Escape from Atlantis, but instead of like everyone going out in different directions, you're going from one side of the board to the other, aren't you?
Yeah, I think take that aspect, you know, where you got two blocks on a boat, and you're hoping that you're going to go to 2 or 3 different places, and then someone runs you over to the obelisk, and there's no way you want to go to the obelisk. So yeah, maybe you shouldn't put 2 blocks on one boat. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good place to bury a cat.
Yeah, there you go. That was a little frustrating for me. Meow. So that's why I rated it as a first impression, not so bad, but it's good. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Off the hook.
What else have you been playing?
Okay. Screen share time.
He's gonna screen share.
Okay, this is a brand new game. It's not even out yet, apparently, called Kodama, the Tree Spirits. It's a very small card game where each player is building their own tree with cards, and you layer these cards over each other, so you build up from branches to branches to branches, and each card that you add to the tree has different little elements on it. It might have some mushrooms on it, it might have an earthworm, it might have some flowers, it might have a glow bug, it might have a star, and every time you play a card you are scoring points, and these points are scored based on the chain that you've created. In that regards, what do I mean by chain? Well, if you've got a branch with 3 cards and the 4th card that you put on has a star and a worm on it, if the card before it has a star and a worm on it, you will score a point for each of those. And if the card before that has a star or a worm on it, you will score a point for each of those. Even if it just has one of those 2 things, you will score for it. And so each turn, every player is picking a card from a hand and they're playing it in front of them onto their tree, and then they're scoring for it. After a certain amount of rounds, it's the end of the seasons, because you have spring, summer, and autumn. At the end of each phase, spring phase, you play a card. You're dealt some cards which have kind of objectives on it. You know, build a tree which has the longest arm, or build a branch on your trunk with stars or whatever. So you'll play one of these cards and score extra bonus points before going to the next part of the year, the summer and then the autumn. And the game continues like that. And the players with the most points at the end of the game is the winner.
So when you play those cards, are you playing them down in front of you? So that's
Yes.
how you can tell which ones you've played?
Yes, every player starts off with a tree trunk, and then you add a card on top of one of the branches from the tree trunk, and you just grow this tree bigger and bigger in whichever direction you want to go to try and obviously get the most points.
How long does it normally take?
It's a quick game. It takes about 20 to 40 minutes.
20 to 40. Well, gosh, I'm going to say you're going to say it's good. Yeah, I think I hit the wrong one, didn't I?
You did hit the wrong one.
You're not the only one that can do that. Okay, here we go. Good. There it is.
Oh dear. No, it's not so bad.
Oh,
it's not. Great Scott! Marty! I can't believe it. But yeah, it's not too bad a game. It's a kind of light filler. It's fun to create these lovely little trees out of cards. You know, you're not allowed to have overlap. There are certain rules about it. But the problem with the game is problematic in the regards of the text for the bonus cards that you play at the end of each season. They feel unbalanced, and they're not very well explained as well. Which kind of like ruined the whole experience of the game. You know, it's fun, yeah, building a tree, and then all of a sudden, which card shall I play? I play this one, but I'm not sure if that really means this, and I'm not sure if that means that. And it kind of came to a kind of disappointing end when nobody knew what they were really scoring maximum points for. But it was fun just building the tree, so it's not too bad. Hopefully they get this corrected before it comes out into English. Yeah, it's not too bad a game. That's Kodama.
Kodama. That's action phase games.
Sorry?
Action phase games.
What's action phase games?
Isn't that the name of that's the US company, I think, right?
Yes, it is. Sorry, yes. Designed by Daniel Solis.
Daniel Solis, yeah.
I wonder what you're talking about. I thought you were on another planet there.
No, you're on the other planet.
Oh, yes, I mean,
come back to Earth, Barry. Barry, come back to Earth.
Oh la la, I cannot believe this American here. He is not possibly English. No. Schweinhund. You stupid kniggets.
Live long and prosper.
Come on, I just did a Monty Python reference there, and you got the Monty Python film. That was reference. And you didn't even get it.
Oh.
I fart in your general direction.
Well, we have to have my son catch up with you on that.
Okay.
He'd go on with you for about an hour. Just watch our upcoming episode of Royals, and you'll get your fill of it.
Okay, I'll look forward to that.
Well, I think it's time for us to move on, and we're going to go into our section, The Knights of Babblelot.
Cue music. Which track is it? Track 4. This is live TV, gentlemen and ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Where's my picture? It's not working.
Your picture's not working?
No, it's not coming up. That could work, but the other one doesn't. Oh well. Oh, pants. Panty pants. I'm trying to load a picture of the Holy Grail, and it's not working.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
The round table of Babblelot?
Yes, let's try this. Let's try this. Where is it? Here it is. Like that. In theory, technically, in techniquement, it is like that. Live telly! Woohoo! Come on, he's not even doing it on here. Screen share. Look.
Well, you're going to have a lot of editing here.
I'll have a lot of editing. Is that working?
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of editing.
Oh, God, it's not even working there. Oh, no, I've opened the wrong thing now. I've opened...
See?
Player.
Yeah, there you go. That's how it is. Never give a monkey a keyboard.
I'm not going to bother. Stop screen sharing.
Hey, for all you guys that are listening, I'd encourage you to go to the Burky and Badger Board Game Babble Facebook page, because you're going to see a wonderful monkey hitting a keyboard, and that monkey is not me. That monkey is Barry. Hey, that rhymed.
It did.
It can't stop.
We can stop.
All right. Well, we're going to be doing the Knights of Babblelot, and what we're talking about is the game by Cool Mini or Not, Simon Games, Potion Explosion.
Did you say Seaman Games?
Simon. I didn't say that other word. Don't say that word.
Okay.
I said Simon.
Okay. Or it's by here in Europe.
Cool Mini or Not.
Or Horrible Games. There you go.
Horrible games. How, you know, I gotta just stop on that dumb thing.
Why
would you call your company Horrible Games?
Because what games have they bring out?
Just horrible ones. But this isn't a horrible game, but why would you call it horrible?
Oh, I think it's just a cool name. It's an Italian company, so they probably chose what they thought was a cool word in English. But you obviously don't think it's cool. I think it's cool. Horrible Games.
No, it's not cool. That's not cool.
It's better than
that's backwards branding.
Dice hate me.
No, yeah, Dice hate me. That's different. But this is backwards branding. This is like backward masking. They're hiding it in their song. Horrible. You're not going to like this game. Horrible. You're not going to like this game. You can hear it in the undertone. No,
that's good.
Anyway.
They put themselves at a low bar. You know, this is a horrible game. Okay, and if you like it, that's brilliant.
Yeah, try this horrible game. You'll like it.
Okay, so anywho.
Here, try this. Try this skunk scented peppermint gum. You'll like it.
But be careful, there's more.
For an extra $5, we're gonna give you Taste of Raccoon.
And that's not all. There's more.
There's way more. We're gonna give you Armadillo Butt.
And a whole boat of seamen who love sailing the 7 seas.
Seaman.
I was going to say Zeman. I thought you were saying Zeman Games. I was thinking Z-Man doesn't make Potion Explosion.
Z-Man. No, they changed their logo from Cool Mini or Not. They still have Cool Mini or Not, but they also have now C-Mon Games. Capital C, capital M-O-N. And they've got these big purple shirts now, and it's a big C-M-O-N. I don't know what I think about it. I love the name Cool Mini or Not. So, but I think
why don't they call it YMCA or something like that?
YMCA. Yeah.
Anywho,
So,
we talk
we
about
should
this.
probably get on to Babble about Potion Explosion.
You know, one thing we haven't babbled about, because I'm going to babble some more, because I want to know what this ugly picture is.
Oh, we're going to go back to that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Nutty Professor. That wasn't our good, the not so bad and ugly. And he says, now that was a gaseous anomaly.
All right, that's the Nutty Professor with Errol Flynn. No, not Errol Flynn.
No, well, you see
Eddie
the candle. You saw the candle on the cake.
Yeah.
It's just the way it goes sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Can we get back on track to Potion Explosion? But that was an explosion, so it was a good segue, kind of.
Yeah. Who blew the candle out? Who?
So, Barry, why don't you give us an explanation of our rating system of the Knights of Babblelot and how we're going to rate this game after we go through and give a little explanation about the game.
Okay. We're each going to give it a score either from 1 to 5, and then we'll add it up at the end. And if it equals a perfect 10, we will allow this game into the kingdom of Babblelot.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that's the king there, the king of royals, and I am the jester, the court jester. And what we say goes.
And if we rate it a 5, we shall promptly display it right on the round table of Babblelot. But
yes.
It must be very, very good to be worthy of the realm.
Yes, a 5 is an absolutely love this game. Must own it, must play it whenever possible. A 4 is a very good. I want it in my collection and love to play it numerous times. 3 is it's a good game. I will play it occasionally, but it's not an essential collectional game. A 2 is there's some problems with it. I'm not really excited about playing it again. And a 1 is throw it off the castle parapets.
Yes, into the moat. Into the moat.
Into the moat. And throw a fireball at it. Hey, Merlin, throw a fireball at it, chap.
Yes, in the moat it goes.
So let's talk about Potion Explosion quickly. What is Potion Explosion? For those of you who don't know what Potion Explosion is, and I'm going to say Potion Explosion one more time, because Potion Explosion is a game by Horrible Games, not Cool Mini or Not, because they just bought the rights to it.
Well, go ahead and give us your first explanation.
My first explanation is Potion Explosion is a game for 4 players, up to 4 players, 2 to 4 players. And in the game, players are going to be making potions from chemicals which are dropped down this marble dispenser. And each marble is a different color. And so each marble is a different ingredient. And each player will have 2 vials in front of them on their Bunsen burners. And on their turn, they'll be taking marbles out of the dispenser, much like a kind of, was it Candy Crush? Yeah, Candy Crush. So you take a marble out, and if the 2 marbles that clack each other afterwards are the same color, you can actually take them as well. And
because they explode!
Yes, and you can do big chains of these things if the colors are all aligned right. There are also some little other powers. You can also like take a bee out for free, but you'll lose 1 point at the end of the game. Did I say bee? Yeah, bee's the French word for marbles. Sorry.
There's no bees in this game, Barry.
No, there's no bees. There's
no bees in your name either.
There's only P and E. Potion Explosion. Anywho, yeah, so you're making these potions, and after you've made a potion, you put it in front of you, and you can actually drink it. And there's 8 different types of potions, and they all have different effects. So, like, some of them will let you, if you drink it, it will let you take any marble out of the dispenser, or you can take out different color ones from the bottom row, or you can steal marbles from another player. And the game keeps going until someone has achieved a certain amount of goals. And that way you count all your points, because each of these potions has different points on them, and plus your little bonuses that you get. And as normal, the player with the most points is the winner.
Yes. Well, you've pretty well explained the game.
I know. I've played it a lot.
Well, I've played the game 7 times now.
Ooh.
So, and I've played it at all player counts. One thing that I think is interesting, if we could go a little more in depth of what's happening, these 8 different potions that you're going to get, what's going to happen with these 8 potions, there's a unique little drafting mechanism at the very beginning of the game. Several of these initial potions are going to come out on the board, and they are going to have little stars on them, so they're easy to identify. You're going to pull them out, and everybody is going to get 2 of them, but it does a reverse like a snake draft. So everybody starts with these 2 potions, but then the rest of the potions all get mixed back up except for 2 sets of potions. The rules state at the beginning game, a beginner game, you should take out, it's what the potion of lava and the potion of ultimate stickiness. And you take those out. But then eventually you're doing that random so that there's some, random replayable
variability to the game.
Yeah, variability when we're doing that. So tell me a little bit of what you think about how those potions, all those extra potions, Barry, that are not drafted, they get all mixed up and are put in 5 separate piles, and then you're not supposed to be able to look through those piles, basically. But there's a set collection mechanism in the game that gives you extra points. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you will be awarded these little bonus awards, and you'll set up a certain amount. You'll set a little pile of them up in the middle of the table, depending on the number of players, and that triggers the end of game. If you create 3 potions identical, you will take one of these tokens and put it in front of you, and you will also take a token if you create 5 out of the 6 potions available in the game in a row. So
and if you created a 3 of a kind potion, you can't use one of those 3 of a kind potions to make up your 5. You have to have 5 separate individual different kinds.
Yeah, so there are some strategies on the potions that you make, and again the strategies on which potions do you use and when to use them. And the game is really a kind of real race game, but you also it centers around this distributor of marbles where you could set someone else up, or what you want to do is you want to set yourself up for a big marble chunk taking and filling up your potions each turn. And that's where the fun of the game is for me. It's that thinking of how can I get the best out of this and how can I screw over the other players.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things. This device that sits on the middle of your table. This is a cardboard device that's actually pretty well constructed. I'll show you the picture here. You can probably see it if you're looking at that. And it gives a very big, real 3D presence on your board. And these marbles fall down through it, and the marbles are representing components to your ingredients, to your potions. And these explosions are going to happen. But what's unique, it's not like, say you had 2 yellow ingredients and then you had a black in the middle. You pull that black out, the 2 yellow click together. But by taking out those 2 yellow, it might make 2 blue ones click together, and maybe 3 or 4 of them. And you get to grab all of those. So for us, the excitement of the game is, wow, could I get 10 ingredients? Could I get 12? In one game, I was actually able to manipulate to get 14 ingredients by asking for help from the professor. Now, the professor, he's this whimsical character that's in this school where he's teaching us how to do all of these potions. When you read the rules, it's very whimsical and very fun. But when you ask for help with the professor, you get to pull 1 additional marble that does not create an explosion. So oftentimes we can use that marble to set up one of those big explosions. Tell me what you think about that and how that negatively affects you.
It is a push your kind of luck in that regards. You need to have a good amount of foresight in the distributor to kind of figure out what is the best thing for you to do and when to do it. Because I mean, you don't have to necessarily take that forfeit and take out that extra B. I've seen people play the game where they don't do that. Like my daughter, for example, she won't do it, and sometimes she'll win. But it is a risk, and that's what I like about the game. It gives it that element slightly different. You can risk taking out a B and taking a negative, I said B again, marble, taking out a marble. And
ingredient.
Yeah, ingredient. Okay, I'll stick to ingredient. It should really. And taking that negative point at the end of the game, if it sets you up with a super chain of marbles, ingredients that you need to complete your potions. And it's, you know, again, I played this with some friends, and they thought after their first play, oh, this is too simple. But then when they played it a second time, they started to see the strategy in the game. There is a lot more depth to this game than what it looks at initial viewing. You're gonna find different strategies that you're gonna do for different things. You're gonna, excuse me, you're gonna need certain ingredients at certain times. You've also got a vial off to the side where you can put 3 marbles, 3 ingredients. There goes the 2 ingredients. 3 ingredients in reserve.
The storage vial.
Yeah, the storage vial. And then you can use them at any time. Or if you drink a potion which just lets you use any ingredient as any color as well. So there is a mass amount of replayability in the game in regards to the different potions that are used in the game at one time, the different strategies that you can have. The marble dispenser itself has, you know, different combinations. And so this game just has infinite replayability, and it's very family friendly. It's very simple to grasp. Everybody's played Candy Crush, haven't you, Kevin?
I actually have played Candy Crush. I didn't play very long, however.
Like me.
Yeah, one of the things I think is interesting, you know, that decision, you know, asking for help. If you do ask for help, you're going to take a -2 points. And like you said, sometimes there's a strategy of let's not ever do that. For me, it's almost like I generally will end up doing it 3 or 4 times in a game because it always just seems advantageous to get that extra 2 or 3 vials or potions fulfilled. And one of the unique things is when you flip over the potion because you fulfilled it, you take all of those ingredients, those marbles, and you put them back in the machine, and they all roll back randomly. And then we've got this potion that's been completed. But then depending on its ability, the question is, when do you want to drink it and use its ability? You know, one of the abilities lets you steal from someone else's vial. Another one lets you draw 2 different color components from the same line. One lets you, at the whole bottom row of the mechanism, grab up to 4 different ones. I love that one.
Yeah.
One of them just lets you take 1 marble. It sounds bad, but then that vial is always worth more points. At the end of the game, it's drunk. You look at it, and it's worth, the cheapest one is worth 5, where the other ones are only worth 3. And some of the better ones are worth up to 11 points. So, I mean, that's a significant decision on the point spread, too. If you're really... I think it's really hard to be able to count your opponent's points. So you really don't have a clue where you're at other than what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. So we've talked a lot about gameplay and the mechanics. What about the actual components themselves?
That's great. I just started writing down a couple of those thoughts too. I think component-wise, personally, I think it's a great production. I like the artwork. It's got a whimsical, funny feel to it. It's nicely done. Everything is very legible. The cardboard chits are of significant thickness. I do have one little complaint.
Yep.
This is kind of a minor pip, but take a look at this. Can you see this?
Yeah. It's all the punch outs for the
This is a box. There is a potload of vials. This is about, all these pips you're seeing, that's about half of them. And every one of these, you got to pop them out. Thankfully, they were die cut well, so that they didn't have any flash on them where the paper is going to tear. So I didn't have any problem with that. But it seemed like I punched those things out forever. And it's like confetti almost. It's a minor quip, you know. It's, in my opinion, the way the marbles sit inside of those vials, they sit nice on there, they don't roll around. And then that machine where you're pulling out the vials, even to where they come out from the bottom, you notice that, you know, you're kind of wondering what's up behind in the hidden part. But they've designed it so well that you can't look up in there and really see anything. It's only giving you a limited amount of information. And, you know, like I said, I've played that thing seven times now at all different player counts, and everybody goes, ooh, this is cool.
It does have a cool factor with the components. The marble distributor is the key part of making this a really good game. It's not just a board game, which could have been like sliding cards along on the table. This makes the game. Unfortunately, there have been earlier versions of the game where the components were not so good. There were problems with marbles, there were problems with the distributor, but now they've got it up and it works really, really well. And for me, the components are really great, apart from the fact that they are marbles. And sometimes when you're reaching across the table, you will knock the marbles off your potion, off your Bunsen burner, and they will go rolling everywhere. And if they roll onto the table, yeah. It's
I've never had any fall off.
No,
they've been really good, but
okay,
we're not crazy like you guys. We don't jump on the table like you guys.
Yeah. So again, my version is the first production copy from Essen last year. So probably they made the holes a bit bigger now.
That could be. Who distributed it over there?
It was Horrible Games.
Oh, Horrible Games.
Horrible components.
Horrible.
Yeah.
That's why you have to get CMON Games to do it.
Come on,
CMON.
There you go.
Yeah, because they do everything awesome. Everything's awesome with CMON.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd make a song.
We would make a song.
Well, yeah, I think components are great. I have no complaints at all, really, other than it was a little bit putting it all together and pulling out all those chits and those punch outs, but no biggie. So what do you think about replayability and variability in the game?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of replayability. As I said, the marbles distributing randomly. You take out 2 potions every game, so you have 6 different potions in each game, and it'll be different a little bit. And then there's the strategy. You can vary your strategy. As you said, you could ask for help and take those negative points while taking extra Bs. And the different potions, again, have with their different effects when you drink them, make the game replayable and give you a lot more replayability. It is a great family game. Unlike the one that I spoke about earlier on, the Oceanos, there's not really a lot of replayability there, even though there's like big decks of cards that you have to go through and you can change your ship. This feels like there is replayability. And again, this feels like a game like Candy Crush, and Candy Crush is very, very popular. And having that, as I said, that distributor, that little toy there gives this game great kudos. And I did want this game to win the Spiel last year, but unfortunately it didn't even get nominated. Yeah.
Well, I think in that regard too, that it has a lot of feel. Do you remember that game by Queen Games called Via Appia?
Yes, that's the stone money pushing one.
It's got that mechanism like you see at the carnivals where you push all the coins in, you drop coins in, it catches behind the pusher, pushes them, and they fall off, and you get to collect them. And that's the way Via Appia was with these different size stones. And a lot of people thought, oh, that's a gimmick, but well, I don't really care if it's a gimmick, if it's fun. You know, I really enjoyed Via Appia. It was always everybody couldn't wait till their turn to do it, and I think that's one of the benefits. It's also one of the downsides of this game is that you can't wait to get there to pull out your marble or to figure out what to do. But because there is so much randomness and somebody does something, that's going to determine, you know, what you can't really plan your move ahead because it can all change.
In a way you can, because someone is going to be taken from one of the, was it 6 or 8 lines of marbles, and as long as they don't take from your line, you're okay.
Yeah, and if you're playing a 4-player game, though, you really can't do it those first 2 players because there's too many permeations in those 5 or 6 tracks.
Yeah.
And you have to wait till it gets closer to your turn. So tell me what you think about the rules, Barry.
The rules are simple. the rule book is very, very well written. It's the kind of rule book that I love reading, and that's one good thing which horrible games do really well. They do their rule books, and they explain every single little tiny minuscule detail. And
I wouldn't know because I don't read rules, but
yeah.
I honestly, I pulled on Watch It Played, and he had a video for Potion Explosion. You know, if Gaming Rules would have had a video, I would have watched that one first. There you go, Rodney.
Okay, yeah. But, give some money to Rodney. Give some money.
Yeah,
to...
I do. No, what I actually do, I do read rule books, but I tend to watch a video first, then I'll go back and read the rule book. I thought this rule book to be really nicely laid out, and I thought it was really comical too, because a lot of the flavor text in there, it didn't like detract from explaining the game, but it was really funny. So I thought it was kind of cool, actually. That made me feel engaged with the game. Yeah.
The very Vlada Shavatul kind of rule book.
Yeah. Great way to say it. Vlada Shavatul-esque.
Yes. That's
yes. Yes, I said it. I said it. So with that price point, I think the game is selling for $39.95. Is that correct, or is it $49?
I can't remember how much I paid at Essen. I think I paid about €35.
You know, I don't remember. You can go check the. I believe it is. I actually think it is $49.95. A lot of people, I think that's one of their criterias that they look at when they're looking at a game. You know, is this worth the money? You know, I think this box is heavy, and a lot of it has to do with those components, those marbles. But the cardboard is thick, and at $39.95, I know you're checking the price. I think it's a really good price point. At $49.95, I'm starting to go, that's a little bit of a higher price point for what the game is, in my opinion. Do you see what the retail is?
Yeah, it's €31 here, roughly. So it is a good price point for the components. There is a lot of gameplay in this. Excuse me. Yeah, I would say it was a good price.
Well, you're seeing it on the online providers and different things like that for much less too. So you're going to see it in that 35-ish price point, which I actually think is a really good value for the amount of gameplay that you get out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think we're about right. Is there any other comments you have about the game before we actually go into our actual rating of the game?
Yeah, but I'll save it for the rating.
All right. Well, we're going to go right into that ratings. And Barry, why don't you give us your overview of the game and what you rate it?
Okay, Potion Explosion is a board game that every family should have. It is a really fun family game. I would give it a 4. Primarily because it's not a 5 due to the fact that there are a couple of problems. Number one, as I said, the marbles will roll everywhere. And it's a minor niggle, but my major issue is the game setup. You spend quite a bit of time setting up this game, sorting out the vials, the potions that you're going to be making, because as I said, as you know, you remove 2 of the 8 potions from the game, and then also you have your setup potions, which you've got to separate, and they got little stars indicated on them, and to find them is a nightmare. So the setup of this game is a nightmare. Again, the replayability is good, but you're not going to play it immediately after you've played it once. It's going to be one of those games that you come back to eventually over time, because it hasn't got that that pulling power, but it is a replayable game. You will have it and you'll play it, and because it has that toy aspect, this game is a great family game and a great eye catcher. And I'm looking forward to an expansion which adds maybe 1 or 2 different ingredients in with some slight different rules, or maybe some different potions, and that will knock this game out of the park, I think.
Yeah, I think if they had an expansion and had some wild marbles, wild ingredients, but not very many of them, but they get thrown in the mix.
Yeah.
Because those ones, people would go for that line, that row, even if it didn't give them as many explosions, just because they wanted the wild, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
And I know.
And a clever way of taking it out as well, because, I mean, if a wild's there, you're going to just go, I'm going to take that one.
Yeah.
But, some
it
clever
can be
way of
interesting.
removing it. Mm.
One of the potions, the rainbow potion, when you drink that, it makes all your ingredients in your vial, your storage area wild, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought the game was really nicely produced. I love the artwork of the game. I think the components are really good. I thought the overall fun factor was really good. I enjoyed it. There was a couple things that really bothered me about the game. And I played it a lot before I would even come to this conclusion. But the first time we played it with 4 players. And everybody, and we were playing quickly, kind of. You know, it's not like it didn't feel like, I'm not sure what happened. Well, you're looking at that box and you're trying to make the optimal move. Mm-hmm. Because you want the most marbles. And then you're looking at the available potions. You're looking at what you need to collect for your own points. And so I don't know that I would really call it AP, but there's enough time where you are analyzing. And when you're playing 4 players, what happened in our game, the first game, and these were with very experienced gamers, the other 2 gamers were off holding side conversations, going and checking their phone, doing things like that, because there was nothing you could do. So there was this downtime element, and everybody commented on it. And it's not that we weren't having fun, but we were sitting there waiting. And I don't know that the other person even could have played that much faster. So then we played it another night with 4 different gamers, and the exact same thing happened with the 4 players. Everybody loved the game, but they just felt like you were sitting there waiting. And so that bothered me, and I thought, this is a perfect 2-player game. This is going to go great 2-player. So I played it with my wife. And with my mouth. I played it with my mouth. No. I played it with my wife. And so, and it was her first game. It was taking her a while to grasp the machine. Once she started grasping the machine, it was really good. But then that game didn't feel that much faster for some reason. I was expecting, I don't know if it was just, the first game for Joni playing it and it took her longer. I don't know, but it just didn't feel very fast. So then I played it with Gabrielle, my daughter, with her, our 8-year-old niece. Both of them played quickly, but the same thing felt the same way. But my niece, man, she picked it up just like that. She's playing it, and Gabby plays it. Now get this. This is what Gabby said to me after she played it. She goes, "Dad, I think this game is in my top 10. Which is really funny, but this is the perfect family weight game that my daughter loves. Mm-hmm. Something you can explain quickly, something you can get to the table, play it under an hour, and she's really good at these games. I mean, it's like she's like a gamer of these games. Where other, as sometimes for me, they're a little too light for me to keep my interest. And so it's while they're fun, anyway, I'm kind of giving you my viewpoint about the timing of the game, and that was the biggest detractor for me, is there was just a little bit too much downtime. So I definitely cannot give it a 5. And where I'm struggling with the game is between rating it a 3 and a 4.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna put a little caveat in there, and I learned this from the Dukes of Dice.
No, I wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed. Why can't you?
Too bad.
Oh, you're the king and I'm the jester. That's why.
No, you could have done it, but no, it's too late. What is the point that I'm making is, I think it's a family 4. I would say a family 4 for that lightweight, quick game. It's fun. You want to have it in your collection? Absolutely, give it a 4. For those of you that are more gamers, I think you might fall in that 3 category, and that's the way I feel about it. So while I'm going to keep this in the collection, I'm really glad I have it. It's fun. It's a great game. CMON has done a great job bringing this kind of game to the market. I'm going to say that 3, family 4.
I would say that I haven't had much problem with AP. I mean, when it's not my turn, and there's always something for me to look at the market of other potions that I want to pick up. There's watching the other players, what they're going to do, try and like predict what they're going to try and go for, and then obviously plan out my move. So I don't think there's too much of a problem with AP. I think AP players will slow this game down, but we haven't had much problem, again, because we've played it multiple times. You start to get a little kind of flow going, and you go, okay, I can see the patterns now, and I go, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this strategy now. Oh, I'm going to do that. So, but that's with the groups that I play with and with my family. We're quite quick. So,
I actually think this, people are loving this game. A lot of people really enjoying it. So I don't think this is a negative. It's just kind of comments on how I'm viewing it, how you're viewing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. And overall, together, you giving it a 4, me giving it a 3, family 4, we're really saying this is a 7, almost an 8 rated game in our rating scale. And so we think pretty highly of the production. I think it fits a real nice niche. And so with that, that's the Knights of the Board Game Table with Potion Explosion from Cool Mini or Not Simon Games. And we're going to move on to our next segment, because this is what we really are excited about. We're going to try to do this under 25 minutes. And this is the Babble topic.
Where's my monkeys gone? Oh, there they are. Oh dear. Okay.
Babble. And now it's time for the Babble, 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 Burky and Badger's Board Game Babble.
Hey, we're babbling today, and today's Babble topic is GenCon Explosion. It's our post-GenCon show, and we're going to be talking about the things that happened at GenCon. I was at GenCon, Barry was not, but Barry's going to take the role as kind of the moderator here. If you have some extra things that you if you're following us online, have questions, please join in. And Barry, we're going to have you just jump right in and ask some questions about GenCon and what my experiences were there, and we're going to talk about that for a little bit.
Okay. Right. So I was just typing a message saying, questions for GenCon, please post them in the YouTube video now if you're live, and we'll talk to you and talk about you. Okay. So you're going to talk about the post before GenCon, the setup. What happened when you arrived?
Yes. Well, basically what happened is I arrived there a day early on Tuesday. And the reason I did that was because of my flight situation. And what really was cool about it is I got to meet Anthony Ricano and Paul Lavano, I believe is Lacano, and Jeremy from the Cardboard Jungle podcast. And I was actually able to stay the evening with them. They let me bunk up with them. They had an extra couch that I was able to sleep on. And I got to hang out with those guys, and also with Keith Collins, Major Malfunction. And we just had a blast. We went to the gaming hall. We got to see all of the booths being set up. I spent about 4 hours helping Arcane Wonders set up the booth, and they had an amazing booth with really fun stuff that they did. And it was hot in there, but it was really interesting seeing that whole convention of GenCon turn into this really crazy elaborate setup. But you're seeing it from the pallets all broken down all of a sudden to signs going up and hanging things going up and carpet going down, and the place is transformed in a day and a half. Amazing. So that's what happened when I got there initially, and got that evening, spent some time with the Cardboard Jungle, and it was just great meeting them and hanging out with those guys. So they're a super fun group.
So what things did you observe this year at GenCon?
Well, lots of different things that I saw this year. They moved the True Dungeon over to the Lucas Oil Stadium, and that was kind of an interesting thing because last year, the True Dungeon was at the convention center, Lucas Oil Stadium, there's a tunnel that you can go through from the convention center all the way over there without going outside. And that was kind of interesting because this takes up a lot of space. What I didn't know about it is this True Dungeon deal. This is a big deal. It's like $56 a ticket to get into this thing, and you're basically in a role-playing game, and you get these little poker chips that have different things that level up your character. And each time you go through the 2 dungeon, you can upgrade your character, and you're fighting monsters by doing kind of like an escape room. You're doing clues that everybody has to help figure out collectively, or you're fighting the monster with this shuffleboard combat system, where you put your little poker chip with its ability and strength in this little shuffleboard puck, and you're sliding it along the board, and the monster's on the board, and if you hit his eye, you know, it's going to be 11 points damage plus your effect and what kind of armor you have. But then he's going to fight back. So if you don't get the thing, you're all going to take hit points, and you'll have a healer. I was the dwarf fighter.
I wonder why.
Yeah. It was deliberate.
Yes.
And so we had a lot of fun doing that, and I went with Brian Pope and his family. They got some free tickets for the one session, and then the whole Arcane Wonders group, we got to go, and man, we just had a blast of this thing. But the thing I want to say about this last thing, wrapping that thought up real quick, it was a blast. But at the end, when you win or if you survive, you're actually going to go to this treasure chest, and it's got this plunger that has a magnet on the end, and you put it in and you pull out these chips. Well, I had all these pulls, and I pulled out 2 chips. One of them was this charm bracelet that lets you carry extra things. Guess how much that charm bracelet was going for on the aftermarket?
Aftermarket?
Yeah.
What's an aftermarket?
People selling it because they're worth money, like on eBay and other places.
Wow, because you touched it?
No, because I got it.
Oh, okay.
It's mine. It's my precious. My precious.
Okay, I'm gonna go $5.50.
No, it was worth $139.
Oh my!
Yes. Okay, then I get this purple super ultra rare redoubt plate armor that's like a -11, okay, or a +11 for my strength. Guess how much this chip is worth?
Okay, if that other one was 100, excuse me yawning, I'm gonna say 2,000.
Well, I wish, but no. We looked it up. It was worth $399. Someone just sold one for.
Wow.
$400. Well, long and short of it, we had all these extra coins. The guy that took us there, I gave him some of these lava rocks that were kind of cool. And Brittany was with us, and she was super fun, and they helped us. Anyway, long and short of it, I sold all my stuff for $450.
Wow. You didn't trade them away to get teddy bears or something like that? Like in
No, I could have. Yeah, you could have traded them for other ultra rares, and I'm probably not going to play this all the time. So it was like, it was so cool, but you know, I was like thrilled. I would never spend $400 on a chip. It's not in my realm of thinking even.
No. Would you do the True Dungeon again though?
I would. I don't know that I would honestly pay $56 to go do it personally, because I'm cheap, but or maybe just broke. I don't know.
So you didn't feel it was worth the experience was not worth the money?
No, I think it was. The question was whether I would do it again. Not whether it's worth it. I think it's probably worth it. It's an experience. I'm talking about it, and I really had a great time. And look what I came out of it with. Plus, I had that experience with my friends. So, yeah, I think it's worth it. Whether I pay for it, I don't know. You know, I was blessed to be alongside some people and be able to go to it. So it was really cool.
Okay.
So that was an observation. One of the things that I observed this year too about the GenCon was that the booths are becoming more and more elaborate. It's unbelievable, the booths. You should see these things. I mean, Upper Deck, they had their new legendary Big Trouble in Little China booth. They had the Pork Chop Express.
It's all in the reflexes.
Oh, you should have seen it. It was crazy. They had a full semi in there, and it's duplicating the movie. And the whole, I mean, I don't know what they spent on this booth, but they knocked it out of the park. Off the hook, baby.
Off the hook, baby. Was Lance there?
Baby.
Was Lance?
Lance was there. Yep. And no, he wasn't there. He's just the pork chop.
Oh, right. Talking about elaborate sets, your throne.
Oh, Arcane Wonders. Look at this thing. They had this huge banner for royals. I'm in the royal costume. I'm the king. And we've got this table set up that has these really cool chairs. And then this throne that they got from one of their fans. This throne was beautiful, fantastic. In fact, Richard Borg, one of my favorite designers of all time, he comes by the booth and he couldn't, him and his wife couldn't stop looking at this throne. And I said, oh, you need to sit in the throne. And so Richard comes over there, he sits in the throne, and I give him a box of royals and take a picture of him with royals on the throne. And I don't know, it was that was off the hook. And people would see that set and they would stop, even when I'm demoing a game with people, and take pictures, and I would greet them, and it was just this cool. And I've never seen a booth set up thematically like that had the interaction that booth had. And if you went on the other side of the Arcane Wonders booth, their new game Speechless by Mike Elliott, the fourth in the Dice Tower Essential, it's a charades type of game. They had two big purple couches that looked just like the couch on the box. And so people would come in and they would sit. You know how it is, you're walking around all day. They see those purple couches, they sit down, and then someone would demo the game with them.
Wow.
Playing Speechless. And these purple couches and just the set. I'm a little biased. Obviously, I love Arcane Wonders. They've been really good to me. I love their company. I love what they're doing. But this was an awesome booth. I don't know how to say it. Tony Galati is the sales manager, and even Scott Morris, the former vice president at Arcane Wonders, he came by and he goes, dude, this is a really great booth. And that's just like Scott. He's such a kind man anyway, and just not like, oh, this used to be what I did, but it was like, hey, look what you did. This is awesome. And there were several other booths that really did great jobs too. Asmodee and Fantasy Flight, obviously huge powerhouses, but they didn't have the thematic stuff. Whereas I think Arcane Wonders and I think Upper Deck just knocked it out of the park. So that was an observation.
Yeah. Was there a girl with green eyes there?
No, we didn't have any of those.
Okay.
No.
Oh, sorry. I'm just digging into the Pork Chop Express, the Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, she wasn't there.
Miao Ying. Yes, Mao Ying. Anywho, well, is there anything that gave you any negative vibes at the show? Was there anything that's there which was like a bad experience, or maybe something which could have been better?
Well, the only thing I thought about, this year actually, and I'll just tie this together with another thing we were going to talk about last year's experience. Last year's experience for me was really kind of a downer, to be honest with you. My daughter Maddie came with me, and she's so delightful. It was her first convention, and she made this beautiful silk merchant costume, and I was the sheriff of Nottingham. But we did the cosplay event last year, and we spent 4 hours in that process. Plus we worked a long shift. We had to park a mile away. We were so exhausted. We didn't play any games till the fourth day. And last year's experience, the crowds were just like packed upon one another. It seems like you could never demo a game. And we were frustrated. And that was the first year at GenCon that I was frustrated. Maddie was exhausted. I was exhausted. And it was just like, I don't want to come back here to this again. And this year, this year it felt different. And I'm grateful. But I went into it with a different mindset that, no, I'm working. Had I not been the king and helping Arcane Wonders and that kind of thing, and then with the podcast and interaction, I probably wouldn't have went. But because I had that, I went into that mindset. And then I just realized that, okay, I'm here and I'm going to enjoy the moment. I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing here. And I'm going to forget about this being about me playing games and going to a toy fair. This is about what can I bring back to the hobby? What can I do to help other people have a good time? What can I do to bring something special to them? And so my attitude really flipped around as far as how I viewed last year. And so this year was such a positive experience for me. We'll talk about it here, but I got to play a few games, but it was still just the interaction with the people was so fantastic. The only negatives I really took from it was that there wasn't very many prolific guests that GenCon brings in. You know,
in regards to what kind of, what do you mean by prolific?
People who are really notables maybe in pop culture or notables in the board game industry. You know, they brought in an artist that not very many people, or at least I didn't know much about, just didn't seem like it was promoted. Last year they had Marina Sirtis from Star Trek The Next Generation. Yeah, Deanna Troi. That was kind of a big deal. The year before they had Walter Koenig, you know, Chekhov from the original series. Poor guy, he looks like warmed over death. He's just as white as a ghost. He sat up on the thing there with his hat on just like this the whole time, and he just looked like he was a very tired older gentleman. And
yeah,
I think he's a delightful man. It just like he didn't look like he enjoyed being there.
Yeah.
But with Gen Con being as big of a convention, man, you'd think they just bring some big heavy hitter in there that would really draw some crowds.
But do you think they really need it when they know that they're going to have big crowds anyway, you know, even without having a name? And again, I think that they probably bring these big names to tie in with games, don't they? Like you said, the Chekhov was probably there just to promote a new Star Trek game, or, you know, just to be there to sign, not even to demo or to play or anything. So
yeah, it just seemed like a disconnect this year, because in my opinion, then why even do it? If you don't need it, then don't do it. But if you're doing it, you might as well do it right. Bring somebody in that's going to get some excitement and some buzz. And I didn't see any buzz about it personally. So that was just one little piddly negative. I think the biggest.
There was buzz. You.
Me?
Yes.
I think the biggest issue that we're seeing at Gen Con this year, it was better. It was still very congested. It felt better. It didn't feel like you were bumping into people as badly, but there was times there was huge congestion. I don't think it was Pokemon causing the problem. But I think the biggest issue is hotels. Yeah. Getting a local hotel. We had a hotel problem. I'll mention it to you later at the highlights, but we had 5 people in our hotel room, and getting a hotel room close by, it's just a big deal, and the hotels are crazy expensive. Mm-hmm. And it's a zoo trying to get one in the first place. So I think that's the biggest negative. But overall, this year was great. I just really loved Gen Con. Had a great time.
Okay. So you didn't get to play much, or did you?
No. Well, I got to play a couple games. The first night I was there, we played Unusual Suspects by Cool Mini or Not, Simon Games. Mm-hmm. That was a very interesting game. We played it about 8 times with the Cardboard Jungle, and this is, this is you're profiling pitchers basically to decide whether or not people have education or not, and different questions like that come out, and you're looking at this grid trying to narrow it down, kind of Codenames-ish, but I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I think that could be a kind of a negative thing personally. But at the same point, it had its fun moments if they could just take out some of those questions that weren't as racially sensitive. I think that's some of that actually did bother me a little bit. So, okay. Other than that, it was kind of a fun game. I got to play a game of Scythe with Blue Peg, Pink Peg that evening, and Mike Smith and my buddy Aaron. So that was really a good time. Played Tiny Epic Western with my buddies from our hotel room, actually, because I had that with me, and that was a game we were able to quick pull out. And then I demoed a few other games that were there. Kabuki Kid, how are ya? So that was basically the games. I think if you go to Gen Con, unless you're there with somebody that you think that you guys can break away in those rooms after the convention and play a lot of games, that's where the game playing happens. I was in meetings and going out to dinner with a lot of people, so I ended up spending a lot more of my time enjoying the company of people in non-gaming environments. So while I did get a few games in, I just realized Gen Con isn't that con that you do a lot of gaming. Go to BGG Con, go to Dice Tower Con, even go to Origins. Those are the conventions you just play games all the time. And I've just kind of come to understand that about Gen Con. Yeah. There were some really big games, though, at the convention. We should probably talk about that real quick.
Yeah, let's go for it.
And then we'll wrap up with my highlights. But the big games of the con, I think the big hit of the con was from Portal Games, and that was Cry Havoc.
Yeah. Okay.
It was amazing. I mean, they had this huge stack. I think there's a picture there. Let me see if I have the picture. There was a huge stack of these games that they brought with. And I know it's, I was able to take a look at that. Can you see that?
I got it.
There's Ignite. Yeah, I got it. And he's this whole pile of Cry Havoc. These were all either they were pre-ordered and sold or spoken for by the time the convention even started. It was crazy. People lined up to get that game. The buzz about this game is fantastic, and I know why, because I actually was able to play a demo of it. We're going to be looking at even doing that as a Knights of Babblelot segment in the future. That's just a little spoiler.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled on this channel.
Yeah, for Cry Havoc. People are comparing Cry Havoc to two games that I'm very fond of, and that's Blood Rage and Kemet. And it's almost like a hybrid of those. It's very interesting. Portal did a fantastic job. So that was a big hit. A lot of people talking about it. One of the games that everybody ran to the booth to get was Seafall.
Yeah, I think that was the game that got the biggest hotness on Board Game Geek. It was Seafall.
Yeah, they only had about 100 copies. I was about 3 minutes from actually getting one myself. The game was going for $100. It's a legacy style game set in that seafaring era. Rob Davio and them have worked on it. That's Plaid Hat Games, and they've worked on it for several years. So an incredible amount of anticipation, and people are saying good things.
3 minutes from Seafall, I was. It's not 5 minutes to paradise. No.
And then another game that was really big that sold out again from Simon Games was Bloodborne. That's the card game from Eric Lang, and there was not much buzz about the game because there was some contractual obligations that they couldn't talk a lot about it. But once it got to the convention, it was the big hit, and I was able to snag a copy. Haven't played it yet, but that was huge. Stronghold Games.
String cheese.
Yeah, Stronghold Games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stronghold had two games that were a super hit. And
one
that
is called Kiss the King, and the other one is...
look at this. Yeah, look at that. Do you see Barry's picture?
No.
That's what they call being Bonaccord.
Oh,
The king was Bonaccord.
And they on boats, Barnacle. Oh, they're barnacles.
No, that's barnacles. Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, Stephen Bonaccord, by the way, just this is I have admired this man since I got into the industry at a higher level in the last 4 years, seeing how he does business, the type of games he does, what he does for the community, and then who he is as a person. I've always just had a great deal of respect for him. This year, I think, was a hit, just a huge hit. Knocked it out of the park. He had several titles that are just blowing up.
Off the hook.
Off the hook. Stephen Bonaccord, off the hook. We are actually going to have Stephen Bonaccord, the Podfather, on a subsequent podcast coming up soon. Yeah, the Burky and Badger near you.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. There's more. What have you any thoughts on restoration games, which are doing old versions of games into new games? Kabuki Kids asks, because Stronghold games, Stronghold started like that.
Yeah, let me come back to that question in a second.
Okay.
The thing that was really big about Stronghold Games is they had two games, and Stephen got on the actual local television station because Ludifact actually has a new remote location in Lafayette, Indiana, where they're actually publishing games now.
Cool.
And so it's a very significant news item, actually. But their game, Terraforming Mars, was on this broadcast, and they sold out of Terraforming Mars the first day. They also sold out of Dragon and Flagon, the new fun game from the Engelstein family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So those are big hits. As far as restoration games, it seems like the Fantasy Flight label, the Windward Studios, is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, Fantasy Flight started off with a new division called Windward, I think. It's Windward Studios. And they're bringing back, they're bringing back Citadels. They brought back the game Raw. They brought back Tigris and Euphrates. I don't know if they're just bringing back Reiner Knizia games or what they're doing, but they're bringing back some of these older games and restoring them and bringing their proof. Tasty Minstrel Games is doing a big reprint that should be fulfilled on Kickstarter later this year for Colosseum.
Ooh.
So some of these companies are doing a great job with that and bringing back some of these beloved games. And I think that goes to the, what do they call it? The vassal law? Ding.
Sing it back. Bring it back.
So the vassal law says that if it's a good game, it will get reprinted.
Yeah.
With that, the last thing I'll say about big games of the con, and then we'll just go to our highlights, is this game right here. Can you see that?
I do.
Barry. Look at that bad boy.
It does look like a bad boy. I'm a bit worried because it's got Gale Force 9 written on the bottom corner. And I know what they did. They did to Firefly.
Well, people who like the Firefly game love Firefly, and I know it has a lot to do with the universe, but they are still supporting Firefly like crazy. But Gale Force 9, I think, has done a great job with IPs, and this Star Trek Ascendancy game, I was totally jonesing for. This was the game I wanted to get from the conference, and I was able to make a trade for a couple of my games from Arcane Wonders that I earned working in the booth with a gal that wanted Onitama, and she wanted some Mage Wars things. So that was really super cool.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Hey, chew, bless you, chappy.
Yeah, excuse me. So that was really cool, and that was a real find. We're really excited to play that game, and they've got expansions coming out for it. So that was a big hit too. They had 2,000 games of that copy, and it had special Kickstarter or special GenCon cards in it, and that was pretty cool.
Was there a large Kickstarter section there at GenCon, or was it?
Well, that's a really good question, Barry, because there was a lot of companies there demoing games that they were either putting their game on Kickstarter or the game was going to be coming out on Kickstarter. And there was a ton of people that were doing that. They didn't have any product to sell.
Wow.
And a lot of people were kind of complaining about that. But on the other hand, you know, they were getting the exposure from some of these exciting games. There was a ton of other games to talk about. Royals did really well. The Royals is going to be out till the end of September, and they went through almost the whole lot of their games there. Onitama pretty much sold out as well. Their foil cards for Onitama sold out. Their new expansion for Mage Wars Academy, the Siren versus Paladin or Paladin versus Siren, sold them all out. People who are into Mage Wars, they are seriously happy. I mean, they could have probably had another 300 copies of that and blown through them.
Because Stronghold now have their, what is it, Terraforming Mars being manufactured in the same area. Didn't they have like copies shipped in immediately the next day because they were printed off?
No, they had a certain allotted amount for the GenCon. It's kind of interesting. It's a whole nother story. We probably don't want to get on sidetrack, but not everything is produced. Some of it's still in Germany, comes over cards and rule books, for instance, and then they get all the cardboard and everything. They bought a big box manufacturer, and we'll talk about it on the news. And
we'll talk to Stephen about it.
Yes, we'll talk to Stephen about it. Stephen's great. Okay, highlights.
The beer was great there. You're gonna say
that was great. The dragon and flagon. The dragon was great.
Yeah, the dragon breath. I ate it and I burped it up like a burpy thing that I burped.
Well, you see if you can keep up with me here, Barry, with the pictures.
Okay.
But there was some highlights. The first highlight of GenCon is a tradition called the Meat Sweats. And hopefully I got a picture of that. Maybe I didn't give you a picture of that.
You want this?
No, that's not the one. That's with that's the next one.
Okay.
I don't think I gave you a picture. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I don't want to see meat sweating. I'd rather see ice melting.
Yeah, well, we had that too. It was hot there. The meat sweats. This is our annual tradition with Blue Peg, Pink Peg, and we go out to Fogo de Chão Brazilian Steakhouse. And you turn your dial up from red to green, and they just come out. These Brazilian gauchos come out there with these big skewers of meat, and they're cutting off meat for you, and you just keep piling meat. You eat so much meat until you just sweat meat. You know, it's like filet mignon wrapped in bacon and sausages and lamb.
Stop it. Stop it. You're making me constipated now.
Oh, no. This is great. Just you go to the salad bar, get a little bit of roughage so you can just keep things moving along.
I'm going to eat a cucumber whole.
It's awesome. And we got to be there with some of my favorite people in the whole world in the board gaming industry. Blue Peg, Pink Peg, Patrick and Rob and Jeremy were there. Their crew, TJ Firebeard, Mike Smith and AJ and Franklin and these guys. I love these guys so much. And this has been our 4th year doing the meat sweats. Lance Meister and his lovely wife Rebecca came with, and they sat across from us. They're just such lovely people. My good friend just brought his big beard, and there was meat hanging from his curly beard as he grabbed the pork chop and scarfed it down.
That's why he's called the Pork Chop Express.
Yeah, see, he's the pork chop. That's like they're the pork chop. Yeah. So, and then my good friend Brian Pope from Arcane Wonders, I just so grateful to know him, and he's become a dear friend. And anyway, he came with, and then another friend of ours, Ben Hilliard from Daedalus Productions. And so he makes those custom inserts that we did Inserts Galore a while back. And it was just such a delightful time there so that's one of the big highlights. Then the next highlight was Sheriff of Nottingham Day.
What?
And the good Sheriff of Nottingham went into the land of GenCon, into the region known as Arcane Wonders. And guess who was there in this land? The designer, the great game master, Sergio Halaban, from all the way from Brazil.
Wow.
You can go show that picture of us. The good sheriff made a one-day appearance for Sheriff of Nottingham Day. And this was really, there you go. You're seeing the whole booth was rechanged to focus on Sheriff of Nottingham. I had the Sheriff of Nottingham costume. There's Brian Pope and Sergio Halaban, the designer. And we had special promo cards, and then Sergio would sign those cards. And we had so much fun demoing. It was all focused on Sheriff, and people were having a blast. They were playing the game for the first time. You think that this game it's become an evergreen game, but you think that people hadn't played it, but these people come, oh, I've heard about this, but haven't played it. And they played it, and they just, this is awesome. And it was just a great time. Meeting Sergio that night, then we went out to dinner. That was that other picture that you saw. Mm-hmm. We went out to the dinner, and that dinner was, you'll see there in the picture. In fact, maybe I should pull it up too, so while I'm talking, you can see it.
I can see it.
Okay, there, I pulled it up. Is mine backwards? What the heck, it berries? Okay, I don't know why they do it backwards. That's not right. So you put it up. Don't look at my backward picture. Put up your picture. My picture sucks. Okay. You see me down in the corner, and I got my nose. You get to see my nose and mustache. That's all you need to know.
You keep moving.
Yep, right next to it is Aaron Brossman. What a fun guy. He's one of the staff at Arcane Wonders. And then you got Matt Birch. He does a lot with production. Tony Galati, the sales manager in the middle there. He's the least Italian man I know that has the name Galati, but he's awesome. No, he did a great job. What a fun guy. There's Sergio Halaban, and then next to him, Brian Pope. and we ate at St. Elmo's Steakhouse. We had this amazing shrimp cocktail with horseradish sauce. It was absolutely the best. Oh, it was awesome. And what a fun time. We all had espresso to finish our meal because that's what Sergio said we need to do.
Oh, yeah.
That we're supposed to have espresso at the end of the meal. And it was just delightful. That was one of the times I just hanging with those people that night was so much fun. Then the next thing that was really a big thing was just being the king for Arcane Wonders. I talked about it a little bit before. You saw me sitting on the throne there, but being able to interact with all the customers, so many people, Barry, you wouldn't believe how many people recognize me from Board Game Theater, from the Board Game Breakfast Show, or from the Burky and Badger. People would come say, "Oh, I listened to Burky and Badger," and I would interact with them, and I must have handed out at least 300 of our business cards, with the podcast, and I'm sure we took 300 or 400 pictures with people. And little kids would come up, and they were just this excitement in their eyes that they could come.
Can I flash, please? Can I flash while you're on the throne? That's what they were saying. How do you do that on the throne? Hi there.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, my son autograph. There you go.
Well, this was a highlight for me, being able to interact with the people. I had so much fun doing that with them. So that was crazy awesome. I know I'm doing a lot of talking because I was at the convention, and Barry's kind of helping me here fill in the blanks. But this just being with the fans, and I was in the costume parade, Barry.
I saw.
You realize
someone screamed it. I was like watching it. I was thinking, "Oh my god, best costume ever!"
It was so cool. And Jason Levine from Dice Tower, they had it on one of their, I think it was their GenCon first video. I put it on our Facebook page. You'll see me walking around. But it actually made the Indianapolis Star with me as the sheriff, or as the king, and with the box of royals. And it was just the coolest thing. It's a short thing, but just being able to do that was a lot of fun. And I think the biggest thing of anything, though, was the people we met.
Always.
So I want to just make a couple shout outs, and then we'll move on. But Paul Grogan, what a great guy. He works like a dog. This guy was in the Czech games room, just working his butt off like normal. No, Kabuki Kid, I did not fly Delta. I flew American Airlines and had no troubles. Thank you very much. That would have been a horrible thing. So many people flew Delta, and just, I felt so bad for them. And then, Barry, I got to meet our good and dear friend, Robert Searing.
Oh, I was the chap.
Oh, he just doing great. He spent the first half of the day with them when all the booths were being set up, and we got to hang out for a little bit. And so that's always such a pleasure. Got to hang out with Tommy Hong from Meeple Realty a little bit. He gave me a Tricurion insert because I bought Tricurion. If you go to the Burky and Badger Facebook page, and you will see my GenCon haul, all the different games that I got. So that was really cool. The Secret Cabal guys, super fun. Went to the Cabal meetup, but we got there really late because that's the night we were having dinner with Sergio Halaban. But the highlight of that Cabal was this. This is funny. Chris Miller from the Secret Cabal, one of the founders. I brought a bag of jerky. Okay, I brought several bags of jerky, actually. I gave some to Jamie Keggy, gave some to Tony Topper, and they're loving the jerky. But Chris, he goes, "I love this jerky." Well, he had a couple drinks, so it wasn't like, "I love this jerky." It was like, "I love your jerky." And he took the whole bag, and the whole night, we were only there for about a half an hour, but by the time, because the crowd was starting to clear out at that time, but he's just walking around with his bag of jerky, hoarding the whole thing. It was so funny. And that was big fun. Got to hang out with Stephen Bonacore a little bit, Ignacy Chevicek, Lance and the Cardboard Jungle guys we mentioned, Brandon Nall from the from the Brawling Brothers podcast. Gotten to know Brandon a little bit in the last 2 conventions. He was at the booth where they were selling Scythe, and they sold over 1,000 copies of Scythe. Brandon was there, kind of being Jamie was off in his room over at the Marriott doing the game room thing, where Brandon kind of took over and sold all this stuff for Jamie. Amazing. Oh, another fun thing, Indiana John.
Mm-hmm.
I'm demoing Royals. I'm the king. I'm sitting in the throne. He comes over. We're all playing. I'm in character, acting up with them, and we're the Countess. You've influenced the Countess. I'm particularly fond of the Countess, and just having fun. And then he introduces him to. He looks so familiar, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm John Richards." I go, "Oh, it's Indiana John. I love you." But I don't know why it wasn't clicking. I was in character, you know. And
yeah.
so
peasants look like peasants, don't they?
Yeah, what do you do? I don't know. But what a nice man. I met his wife later on, him and his wife out at the center area, and we talked for a while. And these are just gem people. Scott Morris, Trent Howell from the Board Game family. Got to walk. Oh, what a great guy. Robert Oren and Mark Streed from the Board Game Corner. Got to hang out with all the Dice Tower guys. I'm going really quick, I know. I'm leaving people out, I'm sorry. But got to hang out with Sam Healy and Tom, and met Scott Whiteco, which was really cool. He's the guy that makes those miniatures for the sculpts for Jamie Stegmaier in the treasure chest.
Ah.
And he demoed a game of Royals with us, and that was really cool. Got to meet the normal folks I get to hang with, you know, with Rodney and Chaz and Marty from Rolling Dice Taking Names, the Blue Pig, Pink Pig guys. But last thing was my Arcane Wonders family. We had a room snafu where our group had to be broken up because there was a mistake at the hotel. Yeah. So because I had the costume, I needed to be closer so I wouldn't have to walk out in the heat. We had 5 of us in the room, and this is who was in the room. Justin Emmanuel was in the room, Greg, and then Dawn and Scott Studebaker. Yeah, Dawn is not a boy. Dawn is a lady. And so there was 5 of us in the room, but Dawn, they own a retail board game store in Indiana, I think up around Fort Wayne, somewhere in there. Well, I was a little nervous. I thought, good grief. There's a woman in the room. Well, it's just, you know, I had one bed. Dawn and her husband had the other bed, and the 2 guys were on the floor. So we are crammed in this room. So wow. they had air mattresses, but you know, it's a juggle for the bathroom kind of thing. But Dawn was like the dorm mom. And she says, I'm the doorman. She brought extra soap for everybody to use, and she had the schedule and made sure that there was enough towels for everybody. And no, you go to bed. You go to bed. You know, and she is a hoot. She's super sharp. I mean, she's a great businesswoman, and she ran the money booth at the Arcane Wonders, and she's a sharp cookie, but she's super fun. This is a little side story, but 3 times I'm getting in, changing, and I'm in my skivvies, either in my shorts or my underwear. At least I don't have my shirt on, okay? Mm-hmm. And she walks in the room. This is not. You know, I know that I'm a lot of eye candy. I know that. Okay, especially without a shirt. This is eye candy, baby.
Oh, you've eaten a lot of candy.
Well, you can tell that. So, it got to be a joke because it happened with all of us boys. And finally, the one night that she had already left, her and her husband had left, and I'm getting changed, and it hit us all. And I said, you know what? Dawn's going to come back to this room because I'm in my skivvies. Nothing weird happened. It was totally fine. It was like we were family. These people were just such wonderful people. Got to play some games with them, got to hang out with them, got to work side by side with them. One thing I'm sure this is the way for a lot of other companies, but the Arcane Wonders people in their booth are so kind. They are so committed to giving the customer a positive experience, and you could see it in just everyone that was there. Everyone went away going, those are good people. And I was just really, my heart was really full for that experience. And that was GenCon for me, guys. I just thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. And as you said, as you said, you just stood in one place and the world went past you. You didn't have to go and visit the world.
No, it really was like that. You know, the one day I worked 8 hours, but most of the days I worked between 4 and 5 hours each day. So I was able to run around, sometimes in costume, not that much, but I was able to get a few games. I was able to see some things, meet some people, renew friendships.
Mm-hmm.
It was all really good. The after hours, we just got to spend a lot of time hanging out with my friends, and so that was beautiful. Kabuki Kid, I have not been able to play Codenames Pictures yet, but you can see it probably back on my shelf. I do have it. I've seen it on the table, and it looks great. I just haven't played it. Looking forward to that maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was my Gen Con experience. This year was just great, Barry. What did you have any other thoughts or questions for me about that?
Yeah. So what was I going to say? I was going to say something. It's gone. Live television. Look into my eye. Yeah, so your expectations were very, very low when you went to Gen Con, so you didn't have any predetermined things that you wanted to do that you never got to do.
Yeah, you know, the only thing I really, really wanted was that Star Trek Ascendancy, and so when I actually found that person that wanted to trade some games with me, I was really excited about that. And I normally don't get that giddy about that stuff, but I was just really wanting that one for some reason. But overall, no, I went into it with the mindset is that what can I do to help people have a really positive experience, and what can I do to I love this hobby, Barry. You love this hobby, and how can we be a positive impact in the hobby industry, and what can I do to make people, even if it's just a moment, to bring them some joy.
Yeah.
That's really why I'm doing this. I'm getting a lot out of it because I love the hobby, but that's my motivation. And I was able to focus that and just remember to be in the moment. So even though there was things going on that maybe I missed the Dice Tower live show because I was working, but I didn't care. I was like, I'll catch it on video. I've got people that are here and I'm going to enjoy this moment with them.
Mm-hmm.
And we did.
Cool.
And it was just beautiful. I was pleasantly surprised at my experience because I came home, I was tired, but my heart was really full.
Yeah, that's great. Great advice. What I always say, don't go with a big list of things that you want to do at a convention. Just go there, have fun, do a few things that you want to do, because you're not going to get the chance to do it because there is the world there. There are other gamers. Just be polite, just have good fun, and just come away with some super memories and a few games, and maybe pop into IKEA on the way home as well to pick up a new unit.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, Barry, about when Essen happens, because that's a fair that, you know, I can only kind of dream about going to. I would love to be able to go. You know, it's my heritage, German. I would love to go to Germany and see Germany, but I'd love to go to that Essen fair. So someday that's on a bucket list thought that maybe it could happen. Yeah. But it's kind of like with you at Gen Con, you know, this is an expensive thing for you to come over here. So you're hearing what I'm experiencing, but I'm super excited to hear what you're going to experience when you're there. And when that time happens, I want to do a role reversal where I can interview you like you were gracious enough to do for me here, to let me share my experiences. I want to be able to do that with you as well, because I'm seriously excited about the experiences you're going to have and the connections and the things you're going to learn. And we're going to dedicate a show to that Essen post-explosion too, if you will.
I'm a man of few words and lots of weird sounds, so expect that to be interesting.
Well,
Yes.
I hope this. I talked a lot here, and I'm sorry. I'm so excited about it, and I thank you for being so gracious to let me kind of spew all the stuff in one show like this, because I know it's me talking. I hope it wasn't boring, but I'm so grateful for all that happened, and thank you, Barry.
I can edit it down to 5 minutes, no problem.
You have all the power.
Yes.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
That's impossible. I only have a milkshake.
Many Bothams died to bring you this information.
Oh dear, what a shame. Maybe we should bury them in the sand. Oh, wait a minute, we're on Hoth. We can't bury him in the sand. Damn.
All we got to do is slice open one of those Tata machines.
Tom-toms, yeah.
Tom-toms, yeah.
I thought they smelled nice.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Oh, dear me. I think we better wrap up before we go on.
If I forgot anybody, please forgive me. Anybody that I met, they are all dear to me. I just only have so much brain power.
Yeah. So GenCon, it sounds like Essen, but over there in the great yonder of expensive hotels and no parking.
Yes, I know that. Yes.
Yeah, I know that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bearing with us and watching our live YouTube streaming podcast. Again, if you're listening to this podcast as an audio mix, thank you for joining us. You can find us on Board Game Geek under the Guild 2248. That's Burky and Badger's Board Game Babble. Please leave us a comment. Ask us a question. Tell us what kind of guest you want to have on the show. What kind of game would you like us to review in the Kingdom of Babblelot? Which game should we get to play together? We've got a list, and hopefully we will have more games coming to our list, and we'll have lots of things to talk about then, and you can find out what games make our potion explode. Also, check out Burky and Badger
on Facebook.
Yes, and on Board Game Theater. Let's not put the monkeys on there.
You can go to boardgametheater.com, or you can go to Facebook, Burky and Badger. There's the guild, and then Barry's website, BoardGamesEverybodyShould.com.
Yes. So
yeah, seriously, we'd love to interact with you guys. So feel free to join in. If you have any other questions that we didn't cover, we'd love to interact with you. Feel free to get on Twitter. You know, I'm Kim Peck. He's T Balance O Power.
Yes.
We're pretty active on Twitter. We're active on Facebook. So love to interact with you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Philip Millman. Thank you, Kabuki Kids. Thank you. Who else was listening?
Paul Griffin,
Mr. Gaming Rules, and Patrick Hillier. Yes, thanks for joining us live, and thank you for commenting and having a good chat with us on the side. And we will see you soon, hopefully, with another Board Game Babble about some stuff.
Yeah, we got some. No, that was not. No.
It's your destiny.
Bigger.
The destiny to talk about dice and Star Wars.
The next episode is going to be bigger and more explosive and better than any than we've had before.
Is it going to be like a 9-hour alaboom?
No, but we might have a Stephen Buonacore to join us.
Oh.
No comment, no promises, but
I will fill my flagon.
And I will have my dragon.
Oh, the pursuit of happiness is great.
I'll just do a little terraforming Mars.
Okay, it's getting late and my brain is going to go. Whee!
All right, thanks, everybody.
Yes.
Time to send us love, Barry.
Okay. DJ.
I'm so glad.
Here's the right track.
DJ.
Yes.
DJ Barry Dunlop. DJ. Boom, boom. DJ Berry doublet. Ooh, DJ Berry
We're so
doublet.
glad we had this time together.
DJ Berry doublet.
Time to go.
DJ Berry doublet.
Yeah.
It won't be long until we have another show.
So when do you
DJ
think?
Berry doublet.
1 week, 2 weeks time?
Where is our music?
Oh, sorry.
So keep us in mind, get online. Burky and Badger will be back.
DJ Berry doublet.